Hello, good afternoon, good evening, good morning. Wherever you are consuming this content, I'm Jason. I'm back with another episode of 343, episode 152. Where's the time gone? As always, I'm not on my own. I'm not leading this attack on my own. I've got AF, I've got Ziad. AF, how's it going?
Not too bad, eh? Not too bad at all. I'm just going
I
to leave it
thought
at
you
that
were
for
gonna
now.
start, I thought you were gonna start your intro, maybe doing the Cunha dance, but I'm so glad that you haven't, because I would have probably cried.
No. I'm not one for the theatrics. Put it
Oh,
like that.
wow. Okay. Fair play. Ziad, is it a bit of a contrasting emotion on your side? How's things?
Now I'm all good, man. Ready to go. Excited for the episode, so let's do it. I see you playing up front there. You're not a single striker. You got a strike partner. Tell us more.
My friend, all the great dynamic duos, right? They all got a tall, lanky forward, and then they got a little creative striker, second striker next to it. So welcome to the channel, Dan from Dan Loves Footy. How's it going?
Thank you very much. Very happy to be making my debut on 343.
Yeah.
Thank you for the call-up.
It was weird, right? Because Dan never wanted to be on the show, and then United beat Arsenal. Then suddenly she just whispers in my ears like maybe she should make a guest appearance. So it's not a first appearance. She has been on Red Talk with AF, but it's the first time that she's on the live. So not to break tradition, we have an icebreaker for all of our new guests. And because you are also a co-host, I've got a special one for you. The segment is so start, bench, and sell, right? The three players in question is Wayne Rooney, Bruno Fernandes, and Cristiano Ronaldo.
Oh, wow.
Start, bench, sell. Let's see what's happening.
Yo, that's yo.
And I purposefully did
You
not
chose
give
those players for a reason.
these options earlier so that I can see
It's
what
keep, bench, sell.
No. So start, So
Start,
bench, and sell.
Okay. I'm gonna start Wayne Rooney.
Okay.
I think he is just magical. Bruno is my favorite person in the world at the moment, but Rooney is just a legend of epic proportions. I'm going to sell Ronaldo, but hear me out.
Nobody's contesting you here.
I can already imagine that. It sounds ridiculous, but you see the money coming into my club now when I sell Ronaldo to Real Madrid. You see, because that's
highest return on investment.
Bruno had a 100 mil Saudi offer.
No, that kept getting lower and lower and lower as the weeks went by, and Bruno is on my bench because I need Bruno in my team. I can't count out Bruno in my team.
Fair play.
That's too controversial.
I'd like to hear if AF agrees with that. As the only other Man United fan here, who do you split up there?
I'm selling Bruno, bro.
Yo!
Selling Bruno.
And you would sell Bruno now.
Starting Rooney, benching Ronaldo.
That's fair.
Impact player Ronaldo off the bench, not bad.
Okay.
But that was a tough one.
It's supposed to be tough. It's not supposed to be easy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we are going to start our episode. We have a comment, Yasin, saying he'll sell Ronaldo. Ronaldo sells himself. There's no need to put a notice up for him. He will sell himself. As we had mentioned in the intro, we've got Dan on, obviously, because Man United beat Arsenal. So we'll be covering a bit of that. Unfortunately, guys, if I do cry, deal with it. It's all for streams, and it also is my real emotions. We'll chat about that. We're going to touch a little bit on Liverpool, and thankfully it's not windy here, but it was windy over the weekend. We've got Villa and Newcastle on the review side of things, and then previewing a few tasty games. We've got Newcastle, Liverpool, we've got Spurs and City, and then, a little fun transfer segment at the end of the episode. It is January. We are getting quite a few moves. Just before the show, we saw Oscar Bob signing for Fulham, so that is one to definitely chat about a bit later. But Dan, as the guest, talk the people through what the weekend was for you, specifically Sunday? Not how I was after the game, but maybe before and during the game.
You were very quiet during the game.
Okay.
And I don't know who it was that silenced you, if it was Togu or Kunya or Boom. I think it was the first one, actually. It was the first one. It was a good weekend. United with another win after the Derby win was, I'm not used to back-to-back wins as a United fan. That's not something that happens often. So when it does, and when it's against two big teams, I end the weekend quite happy.
That's fair. That's fair. THAT, the Arsenal fan with me here, talk to me a little bit just about the thought and the feelings around that game.
Nothing too stressful. I mean, I predicted it, so I'm not too stressed about it. Like I told you on the day, I think I messaged you and you were annoyed with me. But I told you I think United is gonna win, and I think I said 2-1 or 2-0. I can't remember which one I went with for you. But I just felt that coming into the game, it was likely, especially considering how they played against us in the first game of the season. And I thought the way they played against City, that this game would suit them and they would manage to come out on top. And sadly, I was right. I don't know if it's a testament to my ability to to do this job or what it is. But yeah, it's obviously not good to lose, but I did see it coming.
Fair play. I think this is one of the instances where I hated the fact that you were right. You're actually good at your job. You saw something that I didn't. AF, talk to me about your emotions. We were walking to the shop and we saw AF, and AF was like, he seems to be chatting too much. Maybe he's a bit overconfident. AF didn't even have his jersey on. This was maybe like, I think it was half past 3, maybe something to 4. Yeah, and I was like walking proudly in my jersey. So yeah, AF, talk to me. What was your sort of emotions going to the game?
No, I was nervous before the game, like half an hour before kickoff. I was like, okay, I don't know if we can back up what we did last week with another really good performance. And in all honesty, I don't think that we played as good as we did against Man City. I think against Man City, we completely outplayed them on the day. With Arsenal, I think that we had good moments in the game, but more often than not, we took advantage of Arsenal's mistakes. And I mean, that Subimendi mistake, like that handed Mbeumo his goal on the platter. And then just with Cunha and Dogu, that was two really great moments from one really good technical player, and then the other one, Dogu, who is starting to like build himself up within the club, and he scored like a couple of screamers before. So this one is basically just getting known for that. But yeah, I think that we played better football against City, and we just took advantage of the mistakes that Arsenal made this past weekend.
Nah, for sure. I think it was a tough one. When the first goal goes in, I'm very upset because a simple error like that from Zubomendi is not exactly what I expected. But yeah, I think there was definitely some positives to Man United's performance. Could you just maybe, like, was there anything that you weren't too chuffed about in that game in relation to United's game plan or maybe the playing style, or was it a perfectly executed, wait for the right moment and then capitalize?
So I said this like in the group chat, and the first like 20-25 minutes, it seemed like the game plan was to just park the bus and absorb everything that Arsenal was going to throw at us. And funnily enough, the goal that we conceded basically gave us that jolt to actually start chasing the game. And I think that's when the switch flipped and United thought, okay, let's just rather try to play some football instead of just parking the bus. So I wasn't chuffed at all with the first 20 minutes because I knew like it's not sustainable across 90 minutes.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah, that first 30 minutes. So before the game started, I thought like, okay, high scoring game, 2-2 draw maybe. But that first 30 minutes was relatively equal and very quiet, like on both ends. And so then I was like, okay, now I can't see where like all these goals are going to come from. And usually when United concede, like our heads are down and we're not seeing anything after that. So I was so happy that even though it came from a mistake, that we equalized relatively quickly after. Yeah, and the same I mean, when it was 2-2 as well.
Yeah.
When it was 2-2 to then score the winner was also a few minutes after that. So I was quite chuffed with that response being immediate.
Okay. So then just added to that, then if you were to look at a positive, do you say, because I think there were 9 attempts that United had, there were 3 on target. Is something positive to take out the fact that the 3 attempts you had on target were actually goals?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, 3 on target and them being goals means we're getting to be more clinical. I think Cunha and Dogo have previously, like you said, they've taken those shots before, and sometimes you're looking at them and you're like, what are you even thinking? Like, why does Dogu think he's a striker in this? And obviously in this game, we're like, thank you very much. Balan Dogu is in the comments there, like 100%. Like, so it's interesting because, maybe before that game is a draw. Maybe it does end in a draw. And it's just that this time around, that moment is handed to us, or Cunha takes that moment really well.
And it's not always that you have to carve it out. I think sometimes if you are presented on a platter, you have to take it. And I think that's what United did. Ziad, looking at the game, I mean, obviously there were some comments. Arsenal haven't won, I think it's 3 games, or we haven't won 5 games. Talk to me about what the feeling is towards Arsenal now. I mean, if you were to take out, if we remove the cons, and that would be, I think, a lack of pressure in that second half, is there any positives to cling on to going forward? Obviously going into a very tricky period where I wouldn't say it's a make or break, but it definitely does contain a bit of a momentum shift in these few games coming up.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of positives with regards to the positions we're in. It's just backing it up with the play. You know what I mean? So it just comes down to that. There's challenging on all fronts. I don't think, obviously, we're going to go that far. We'll get knocked out at some point of some competition. It then depends how we respond to it. So I reckon for me, the biggest thing that I'm looking ahead to is the Carabao Cup and getting to the final there, just to try and get into a position to win a trophy, and then hopefully that then makes things a bit easier, a bit more positive, going through the rest of the season, because that would be the first trophy available, if I'm not mistaken, right? Because you don't want it to become like a thing where you miss that one and then the FA Cup maybe get knocked out, and it's that adds more pressure in that way. So I'm kind of looking towards that Carabao Cup as hopefully something that can kickstart things. I'm not too stressed with the loss, like I said. I'm hoping that it can have a positive effect, try and find a way, because we weren't playing really well in the last couple of games, so a loss was on the cards. We kind of escaped with points here and there, so in a way it's kind of good for that bubble to burst. Now it just depends. You can go one of two ways, right? You're at that fork, so you're either gonna improve and play a bit more freely, or you're going to let the pressure of the expectation weigh down on you, and then it's just going to get worse. So I'm leaning towards the former. I'm hoping that it doesn't get worse. And I think there's enough quality in the group to come back. Again, we are on top, so I'm talking like we have to go chase something, but essentially we're just we're fighting ourselves, essentially.
Yeah. I think the biggest competitor to Arsenal is probably Arsenal. I don't think it's City. I don't think it's Liverpool. I think it's the willingness to kind of push on. And in previous times, we probably see that. I mean, Dan has expressed that when Man United need to set up to win, to go to 4th or to go to 3rd, they've never done it. I think Arsenal are now. We've dropped a few opportunities where we could have increased the lead and kind of given us the buffer to go ahead and lose a few games when we drop a few points. I don't know if it's a gene that we have, and maybe we must throw it out. But yeah, definitely something to look at and definitely consider. I see there were some questions from Yasin about why they look like they can't express themselves. I think from my perspective, it almost seems that Arteta set up a bit too tentatively over the weekend because of the threat that United had on that counter-attack. So yeah, there's a whole lot of factors to it. I think he's trying to overcomplicate a simple thing when you look back to previous seasons, the free-flowing football. Conceding goals isn't the worst, but we also need to look like we can score them, and to fight off scraps from corners and things like that. It's not really a method of scoring that can be maintained.
But that's also not the Arsenal way.
Yeah. Look, it also got to a point
Hey,
where you had to figure out
don't
ways.
talk about Arsenal way, bruh. For 20 years, we didn't win a Premier League. You want to tell me that's the way? So we must play like that and win.
I'm just going according to what Inga said. Your legend of a manager.
Man.
I don't know if you saw the interview.
Give me your own opinion, bruh. Don't come with your
Yeah.
in all seriousness, right?
He's echoing so many people's sentiments. Everybody's thinking the same thing about the way
that's the thing with
Arsenal
people, right? When you don't play the way they want you to play, they get upset. You play a different way and you win, they get upset. Like, we live in a world where people are just never happy, no matter what. So we all complain Arteta don't make subs, right? And then he makes early subs, and we also complain that he took 4 people off. Like, it's like, what do people want, man? So, for me, we'll see at the end. And when you look at like goals scored and stuff, Arsenal have 42 goals. That's not too bad. Only City have 47. United have 41. So, like, what more must they do? If they must play a different way, maybe they don't score as much, maybe they concede more. I don't know. So at the end of the day, it comes down to getting points, because that's what's going to win you the leagues, right? And just like in a general thing, because listening to everything we're saying now as well, there's this thing about the Premier League, and I sent you an Anthony Gordon clip, which I quite like, because I've been on this and I've been telling you guys for a while in the group chat about it. It's that the Premier League has become this data-driven league where everything is about duels, about battles. It's like a literal chess match where people are moving pieces around. And I don't know how we're going to do with time, but we're going to come to the Liverpool game at some point. Liverpool scored 2 set pieces. Bournemouth scored a winner off a long throw-in, right? When you look at other games around the league, you start seeing these battles where people are not wanting to give up territory. So they're not playing like the football you're used to watching. They're playing this English style that the Premier League is dictating. But when they go play in Europe, then the game is more open and teams are willing to play, which we've seen. There's more goals scored in Europe. There's more free-flowing football. Both teams play a bit better. So there's something about England where the game has just gotten so physical that all teams are kind of trying to do this, because half of the teams have a good throw-in guy who's going to run in and do it. Half the teams are scoring from set pieces. I mean, people talk about Arsenal's corners. United are second on that list, or they were second not too long ago, right? Scoring from corners. Bruno Fernandes is deadly off a set piece. I hate it if he has a set piece close to goal, because I feel like he's going to score. The same way I feel like Szoboszlai is going to score, right? When he's got a set piece within 30 yards. So all the teams are exploiting the data, and it's making for a tougher product, essentially. But that just seems to be the way the league's going at the moment.
What do you think about like everybody's speaking about, should the Premier League start implementing like rules or regulations for how the goalkeeper is basically being pushed off his line? And I mean, like, I can see pros and cons to that, because I mean, the goalkeeper has to be physical. You need to be able to command your box. But also it gets to a point where, is the defender or is the attacker trying to actually win the ball, or is he just trying to make sure that the goalkeeper can't move at all?
Yeah, I don't know, bro. I don't know what the rules say, and I don't know what the rules should be. But every team is doing the same thing. They're all putting a wall in front of the keeper. Keeper can't get to the ball. It's not like only one team or 2 teams are doing it. Literally, every team is doing the pretty much the same corner routine. So it's up to the referees. And you think probably next season they might start with a memo that goes around to all the referees to say, blow for this, or like, when last season it was no more time wasting. So for the first 2 months, every player was getting blown for time wasting, for blocking a free kick or whatever the case is. And now it's kind of gotten out, right? So you're going to see probably they crack down on the goalkeeper thing, maybe at corners, and they might crack down on the throw-in situation where teams are stealing a lot of yards at the throw-in. Right, so they take like another 10 steps forward, basically, from where the ball goes out. You're probably gonna see something like that, or a crackdown on it. But for this season, really change anything.
And suddenly they're taking it in the second half. I don't know how they get away with it.
And all the fans see it, and all of them are showing, and the ref's like, okay, stop. But
Yeah,
Brian,
yeah.
he's already taking 10 steps. So like it's visible when it's one after the next. But
Yeah.
I think the element with anything in changing rules is that the consistency in the Premier League is so few and far between. So yes, it's fine that you can change. I do remember though, back in the day, they told Ramsdale that he must get stronger, right? Teams used to press him. So I said, okay, fine, because I also feel keepers need to get stronger because keepers get a big rubber the green here. They get, you just touch them like that, foul. Sorry, no?
I'm not
But
keepers fan.
yeah,
Be careful over
but-
there. Be careful.
yeah, look here, guys. So I feel that they need to get stronger, but again, they can't have a free view at the ball. It's not like something can just be like, okay, nobody must get anywhere close to them. It's competition. Now, are you holding his arms that he can't propel himself up? Fine. And if there are players in and around, then that's what your big defenders are meant to block. If the keeper can't see, then the defender is supposed to defend the keeper and the poles. That's what he will do. But yeah, let's not talk about rules too much. I do just want to ask Dan a quick question. Just look, there's a fan, and somebody asked me if I'm going to cut my hair. Do you think the guy from United stand gets the 5 wins and he gets his haircut based on the current form and knowing that you've got Fulham up next, and then, if I'm not mistaken, it's Spurs and then West Ham?
Yeah, look, I'm always hopeful. I've been hearing fan theories that United are going to win all the games for the rest of the season and then win the league. So that's like a couple of haircuts, I think. No,
Give the people the link to your burner account and then tell them why
yeah,
you're the one
guys,
that typed it.
No, I will say, look, I think Fulham is actually Carrick's test to see, okay, has he really implemented any changes?
Were these other games easy games for you guys?
No, but
Okay.
that's the point, is that our players previously, we turn up for the big games. That's never been the issue. Like we beat Liverpool, we beat Chelsea. These are things that no matter what type of form United are in, we somehow show up in these games. So if you can get these players to show up against Fulham, then I start to believe a bit more. So it's not to say that Fulham is a harder game. It's just that when the players aren't self-motivated, then like how do things work? When we have to control the game a bit more, how do we handle that?
Yeah.
So I'm not sure to answer your question, but Fulham. Yeah, after Fulham, let's see.
Okay, a similar type question, or on a similar thread rather, just for you before we move on to Liverpool and the Windy City. With the fact that United are not playing midweek games, do you think it aids or it kind of hinders some of the momentum built?
I think it like in terms of Carrick coming in as a new manager, there's more time for him now to sort of get his coaching in, be more hands-on with the team, and just try to get his message across to as many of them as possible. So I think it is a good thing. I think it should benefit us. And like Dan said, like it's the smaller, or not really smaller, the more the mid-table teams, the teams that are towards the bottom end of the table, those are the ones that's probably going to be the banana skins for us, because the Liverpools, the Chelseas, the Man Cities, the Arsenals, that's we our players are going to want 120, 130% and play out of their socks. And then when it comes to like the lower end teams, they kind of take a back seat and put their skill set on the back burner. So this one is definitely going to be the big test. You're gonna be able to see, are these players in it for the long haul under Carrick till the end of the season, to try and get that Champions League spot, to try and push as far up the table as they can. And yeah, like I think somebody said in the chat also, the next 3 games are going to be our toughest ones, and I definitely agree with that. I think if we make it through these next 3 games unscathed, then we have a really good end of the season waiting for us.
And then the guy gets a haircut, because that's
Then that's the
And
main
then
thing.
he gets
I
the haircut,
need to
yeah.
see what his hair looks like or what his scalp looks like, because guy probably hasn't seen it for so many years now. So from a potential title candidate in Man United to somebody who's not really defending the title the best. Liverpool obviously travelled to the Vitality Stadium up against Bournemouth, windy, rainy conditions. AF, I'm going to pause because I know you've got a long segment on Virgil van Dijk. But Ziad, just any thoughts to this Liverpool team and this disastrous defense of their title?
Hey, poor Liverpool, man. I didn't think the game would go that route. I actually went 2-2 because I thought there would be some goals, but the way the game went, where they conceded the 2 in the first half, it's also because of the direction they were playing, right? So Bournemouth were playing into the wind, so those high balls, bro, I was just sitting there, and I'll leave the Virgil takes to AF, but they just didn't deal with it well enough, man. And Bournemouth played with good pace. I really like their midfielder, Alex Scott. I think he's an interesting player who could be on the radar for quite a few clubs. So he's definitely one to watch. And yeah, that by the end of the game, I think they just wanted it more, Bournemouth. And it just felt like they were more likely to make something happen, even though Slot made some good changes. But Liverpool's a bit thin at the back, but I have no sympathy for them because it's their own doing. They spend so much money on strengthening the front, but the back line is the problem. And before the Liverpool game, we saw City play Wolves, and we saw Gueye with a pretty good debut, and it just highlighted what Liverpool were missing with the inability to get that deal over the line.
Yeah. No, for sure. And then AF, just quickly on Virgil van Dijk. I know you've got a hate book with his picture on the front. Yeah, do you think that there's a bit of complacency that's set into his game, and it kind of always seems to point the finger at everybody else, but never really truly take accountability for his own mishaps and errors?
Yeah, man. Just a quick shout out to Kenny in the chat. Kenny Apani, our friend of the channel. Yeah, I mean, I'm loving this, dude. I said it last year. I said it like Virgil and Salah, they're going to sign these huge deals and they are going to be absolute garbage after that. And that's exactly what happened. Like he scored a good header, like to basically balance out his mistake over the weekend. But I mean, he's been making mistakes all season, man. And like you said, I don't think that he ever takes full responsibility and is accountable for the mistakes that he makes. He always looks at somebody else. He always points at somebody else. It's never that like it was my fault. I take full responsibility for it. So I don't like that. But yeah, I'm enjoying the decline, if you can put it that way. And I mean, it ended with a last second or last couple of seconds. Liverpool lost at the end of it. So what's not to like?
100%. Because we stopped watching the game, and then afterwards, when you checked the score, game it was 3-2. So, as a United fan, do you have anything to say to the Liverpool fans, or any comment? Dan said pre-show. She said that she can't chat. She can't chat Newcastle, can't chat Bournemouth, but she can definitely chat Liverpool. So yeah.
But I did also say I can't chat unbiasedly.
Oh, okay.
I love the decline. It's my favorite thing. No, look, I think the thing about Liverpool is their first game against Bournemouth as well, the very first game of the season.
Yeah.
I felt like Bournemouth were unlucky to lose that game as well. So I was really happy that they could get the 3 points in this game. And yeah, I mean, we turned it off because I feel like every time I watch Liverpool, then they somehow manage to equalize or get the winner. But what I find interesting about Liverpool, I mean, title champions, defending titles, but they started the season winning their first 5 games. Like you wouldn't say that now. Like I don't think people remember that. It seemed like they were gonna go on like some crazy run and on defending the title. Were they gonna do a Invincibles or something?
Yeah.
I mean, you knew early on also because those 5 games it was last minute winners. They weren't playing really well. And I just assumed that they weren't playing well, but still getting the result, and eventually they were going to come right. So happy to be wrong. glad they didn't come, right? But it's a weird one. Yeah, I can't explain it.
Yeah. No, that's fair. Look, I think after the season they had last season and the sort of money that they spent, I think most of the fans that are not Liverpool fans are enjoying this. The sort of pressure that's now on the team to kind of show what the sort of money is gone to, and we can see that 125 to 150 of that is trying to play week in, week out, but shame he's struggling. And then the other one is injured as well. So yeah, it's definitely gonna be an interesting run of games, especially with Newcastle at home. Then they welcome Man City, and then they go away to Sunderland. It's not been a real easy ground to go and get points at. So definitely one to keep an eye on. Before we jump to their preview of their game against Newcastle, I just want to chat just quickly, briefly about Villa versus Newcastle, because we had previewed this game last week and we had spoken about the sort of element of St. James Park, and Villa rock up and they get their 2 goals, 3 points on the bus all the way back to Birmingham, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere there. And yeah, they've now also strengthened in Tammy Abraham and also Douglas Luiz. Ziad, are we looking at Unai and saying maybe, or because they are also 4 points behind us?
Yeah, they're doing well. I think they keep defying the odds, especially with their goals. Buendia, he took a stunner, a really fantastic goal. Again, they kind of going against the stats because a lot of their goals are low XG, but they're taking the chances, you know. So I'm happy to see these shots from outside. I think Morgan Rogers has the most goals from outside the box, along with Szoboszlai, if I'm not mistaken. So they play a different way. And they do have some injuries, like they lost Kamara, who's been one of their best midfielders, but they managed to tweak things and still keep things moving along. I don't think Douglas Luiz is going to help them because he's been quite injured in the last couple of months. He was at Forest, and I don't recall him ever doing anything noteworthy. But if he can get his fitness right, it will help them because then they can push Tielemans further forward, where he's much better. Tammy Abrahams, I think, will make a difference because Watkins just needs someone to spell him sometimes, man. It's a different look, different type of player. You know, more of a target man, perhaps. So it does give them options. And Emery's a top manager. He's doing really well. So yeah, Villa is going to be in with a shout all the time.
That's fair. AF, I'm not going to really chat too much about Newcastle's performance because we're going to jump into the previews now where we have Newcastle welcoming Liverpool. A Liverpool team that's not really on form, a Newcastle team that's been a bit up and down. What are your thoughts for this game? And yeah, do you think the Geordies are going to be that important factor? Oh, not actually the Geordies, sorry. It's at Anfield, right? So yeah, how do we see Newcastle as the away team, and what's the sort of strategy to counteract Liverpool at Anfield?
Look, I think any team that's going to go up against Liverpool now, they're gonna feel some sort of optimism. I think it's the same way teams came to Old Trafford a couple of years ago, where every time they'd rock up there, they think, okay, now we can get
years
something
ago,
from
like
this
it
team.
wasn't this season or so. Yeah, sorry.
Hey.
No,
Dan,
but I know
I
what
think
you
you need to
mean.
put him in line
The
there.
season
You
in the
need to put him in
void,
line there.
like they were breaking records every time they came to Old Trafford.
Exactly.
It was like,
And I think,
Everton scored more than 2 goals during the century.
so I think that's the way teams are looking at Liverpool now. They think that they can get something out of the games. But I think that there's something on the line for both of these teams this weekend because Newcastle, they want to get some sort of consistency going in this season because then they'll win one, then they'll lose one, then they'll draw one. And there's no like string of like positives for them at the moment. And Liverpool, I think that they're just trying to get a win at the moment. They're just trying to. They had that unbeaten run of like 4 draws in a row. That was the unbeaten run. So they want to get a win. They're looking for a win. So I think it's going to be a really entertaining match. It could be quite open, which could give us a lot of goals. But I definitely think that there's like Newcastle, they're going to want to leave Anfield with something. They probably going to think this is probably their best opportunity to go to Anfield and get a win. But yeah, Liverpool on the other end, I think that they're just going to try to play for a win regardless.
We've seen a trend in games recently where away teams go and they sit and they park the bus. And adding to Ziad's comment about Anthony Gordon saying that it's more open, and he made a specific reference to Premier League and how structured it is and things like that. Interestingly, Newcastle are the team that have the ball infield the least. So it's kind of ironic for him to say that. But yeah, going to Anfield, Dan, do you think Newcastle's game plan is then just to set up sort of defensively very sound, kind of nullify Salah, Szoboszlai, and then catch them on the counter with the quick wingers?
Yeah, possibly because but the thing is, I can't really, as much as I want Newcastle to win that game, like I can't see them getting more than a draw out of it. Like I've said, their pictures or the results recently have been so mixed, and I do think that Liverpool go into this game like needing it more, needing the win more. Anfield obviously isn't what it used to be just for the season, but it still has some sort of a factor. Newcastle, yeah, it's they're gonna catch him on the break. How often? I don't know if they're gonna be able to get the win, like get a couple of goals maybe, but it'll be a tough one.
The fact
No,
that
for sure.
Johan Wissa is starting almost every game as the number 9 now, I think that gives that like last, that final shoulder of the defender. Like that's probably his game plan.
Yeah.
Like knows that if he plays off Konate, and he just asks like somebody like Sven Botman or somebody just to like punt the ball over for him. I mean that could be a Eddie Howe game plan.
Yeah, for sure. And also, look, I mean, Konate missed the trip to Bournemouth. I think his father had passed away. They started Joe Gomez and his hamstrings gave in. And
Yeah.
again, as a survivor of hamstring injuries, I have to feel for the guy. But then they brought in Endo. So, Ziad, if you play Endo, right, is the game plan then? I mean, we will obviously see tonight they have Champions League, but if Endo is earmarked to start, do you then flip the game plan and you bring on somebody like Nick Voltemada, who just then kind of has to either keep Virgil occupied or keeps Endo busy, which then frees up the channels for other midfielders to run?
I don't think they're looking at it that intently. Like what I've noticed with Newcastle is they've been using the two fairly evenly. They're giving both minutes and stuff. So like tonight, for example, they're playing away at PSG. So it's a big game. Whoever plays the most minutes in that game probably plays less against Liverpool. And Wissa has been scoring more, so he stays in the team or he starts the games and vice versa. So you'll see, like, if he doesn't score today, for example, perhaps they throw Voltemada on and use his, because we always think Voltemada height, they're going to target him, but he's better with the ball at his feet, funny enough.
Yeah.
So Newcastle, I'm with Dan on this one actually, where I don't think Newcastle are going to get much in that Liverpool game, just because they're traveling to PSG to play an intense game, whereas Liverpool's playing at home against Karabakh. So I don't think the advantage definitely is going to lie with Liverpool going into the game. And Newcastle have Joe Linton out also, which, you know, normally he's good for them in the midfield. He's the enforcer. Bruno is in the squad tonight, but I don't think he's going to be fit enough. They're going to try and keep him for the weekend. But even then, coming back from injury is always when you can get re-injured, right? So it's a tough one. It's almost like both teams have too many negatives. So it's like which negatives are going to cancel each other out, and that's probably going to lead to a score. That's the thing. And for Liverpool, Konate, I think he'll be back. Enough time, I think. But in what state and what mental capacity, I don't know, which is, you know, tough for them to play through. You know, it's not easy.
No, 100%. Okay. Yeah.
That kid Calvin Ramsey, is he not a centre back or is he a fullback on Liverpool's
I think he's a
bench?
fullback. Yeah. I think he might be.
Right, that's right. Their best bet is to play Gravenberch as centre back.
Yeah, literally that's something that we've seen Slot do before. So yeah, but interesting that you had mentioned the score draw. I also had that previously, well not previously, but as we were talking about it, I kind of thought that's where the score might go. Added to the fact that Newcastle are a bit thin. They've got PSG tonight. They've got Liverpool. They've also got the second leg of the Carabao Cup next week. I think it's Wednesday. So there's that sort of element, right? A 2-0 score, it's hard, but it's not completely insurmountable.
Yeah.
So it is something they could possibly earmark, especially
So to add
seeing
to
as
that,
they had
right?
last year. I don't know.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
they got enough forward players to get through
Yeah.
it because they've got enough depth there. Where they're struggling at the moment is central midfield and central defense because there's a few injuries in those key spots. They haven't been able to field that same centre back pairing regularly. It's always Barkley and Shaw, and then Shaw's injured, then Burn comes back, then Burn drops out. Livramento's been out. So the back four's been a bit tough. Trippier came in. Even in midfield, they've been pushing through with Miley. And then Bruno came back. Joe Linton's out now. So it's that central area of the field where they haven't been able to deal with the rotation as much as they'd like to. Whereas in front, they find they got two options almost in every front position there. So it's going to be an interesting period for Eddie Howe and how we can shuffle the pack to get the best out of everyone.
Yeah, no, for sure. Okay, so you had a score draw. Is it a high scoring draw? Or is it just a 1-1? Is it just a simple?
Yeah, I think 2-2 looks good for me.
2-2 looks good. What you got there?
Yeah, no, I was just thinking, because I'm always hopeful, and the most I think they can get is a draw. But I'm thinking 1-1. Okay. I was gonna go 0-0, but I'm actually 1-1 sounds more likely to be.
Fair play. Yes.
I'm going with a 2-1 Newcastle win.
Hey yo.
2-1 Newcastle. So I've got twofold. If it's windy, then I'm saying Newcastle probably win it. If it's not, I think it's probably gonna. I'm kind of leaning to a 2-1 Liverpool win. I think Liverpool have had their number for a few seasons at Anfield, and especially with the way that Liverpool won it this season, that late winner, that kind of does sting. So maybe they can hold that over them. So I'm going 2-1, but a nice mixed bag of results, which is good. I'm not sure who we want to be wrong in this instance. It's probably me, right? So yeah, let's see. But yeah, we're gonna jump over to the next game that we're previewing. Riaz, this one's for you. As both your teams, Spurs and City. The Spurs obviously coming off a 2-2 draw over the weekend, and yeah, they left it extremely late. Man City finally got some goals and a win after a very topsy-turvy run, 2-0 against Wolves. Also buffered by the signing of Mark Gay and recently Antoine Semenyo. Ziad, where do you see this game going, especially with recent history being that Spurs just lay down and let City do whatever it is that they need to do to get a result in recent years at least?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen anything from Spurs that makes me optimistic. And they also have a massive injury crisis, which they tend to always have. But it is quite bad at the moment. When you go look at the players who are doubtful or injured, it is tough to see where they're going to get the result from. For Man City, I think they were just professional against Wolves. They did the job 2-0. They did nothing fancy. They kept the clean sheet was a big thing for them. And I don't know if whoever watched the game would have seen the way they celebrated when Gay got the block. It was in the 89th or 90th minute. He got a block and everybody just celebrated like, they won. They actually won the game or something. So I thought that was quite telling to show that they wanted to have a bit more solidity at the back end. They could have scored more. They hit the bar a couple of times. So fairly professional from them. And I think with looking at the Champions League against Spurs, play Eintracht Frankfurt away. So they got some travel on their books, where City take on Galatasaray at home. So slight advantage there to City. And with Semenyo, he's in amazing form. It's like he was at City from the start of the season. The way he's playing and the way he's getting into space, getting shots off. He's kind of leading them at the moment. So I can't see a result for Spurs. It's all City for me.
No, for sure. We obviously talk about clubs having to stick within the financial limits and all of those things. Dan, what are your thoughts on them having the injuries and then signing probably the best England centre-back outside the top six, and then probably one of the more informed wingers in the league, and just handpicking him and bringing him to the team?
Yeah, City are a different beast, because I mean they have a squad that's already got so much depth. I mean, against Wolves, they benching Haaland, Turkey as well, Foden, like those players on your bench. I know it's Wolves, but like, come now. And then you go and get Semenyo, and you get. I don't understand it. I am envious. Buying in the January market is not something we obviously do often, so definitely envious of their ability to do that. Yeah, so likewise, even though Spurs have had their fair share of crazy results against City, I can't see anything else for City but a win.
That's fair. That's fair.
Depressing.
I mean, Dan's alluding to a history of Spurs, sometimes turning up. I think under Pochettino, they had Pep's number for many games, and they met each other in Champions League. There was some cup, there were some domestic cup games, and then league games as well. Of recent years, though, we've seen that when Arsenal need to rely on Spurs to do something against City, it doesn't happen. I can remember vividly. I've seen Son finish that 1v1 several times, and that day kick straight. And he will always have an enemy in me. But do you see any way possible that Spurs could potentially get something favorable against City, or is it just business as usual?
Man, I actually don't know like what to expect out of the Spurs team, because on a Champions League night they are bossing the game. They're playing really good football in the Champions League, and then they get to the Premier League and they forget how to play football altogether. And I mean, like you guys need a favor from them in the Premier League, so that doesn't bode well for you. Um, but yeah, I mean, like their performances haven't really been filling me with anything, and I don't know. Spurs supporters feel like Riaz probably feels dead inside by now. And
That's why he has many teams. So you can
that's
obviously
fair.
just
That's
chop and
fair.
change.
Makes sense now. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, in my opinion, I think this is a make or break game for Thomas Frank. So maybe he can pull something out of that for his own career, because I don't think that the Spurs hierarchy is really worried about what he's doing in the Champions League. I think that they just want to make sure that he finishes high enough in the table in the Premier League so that they can make the Champions League next season. But at the moment, they are failing miserably at that. So I think that he's probably going to just try to punch above his weight class this weekend, and that might actually do the trick.
And it's interesting that you mentioned that, right? Look, they're currently sitting 14th on the log, 28 points, only 8 points above West Ham, who's in the relegation spots there. Ziad, Thomas Frank went to the Etihad and got a very comfortable 2-0 win, very professional performance at the start of the season. His tale and his journey has somewhat taken a very different turn. Do you see this game as, I mean, excluding this Champions League game tonight against Eintracht Frankfurt, do you see this game coming up possibly being the final nail in his coffin and him heading off? Maybe Ruben Amorim coming back to the Premier League?
But he's got a lot of nails in his pocket there somewhere, because for the past
Almost
month,
like a cat, eh? He's got so many lives.
yeah, because for the past month I felt it was his last game every time.
Yeah.
And literally every time I cover a Spurs game, it's like I'm pretty sure that Monday morning the headline's going to be that he's out, and he somehow survives.
Yeah.
I don't know what he has. I think it's just financial. They don't want to fire another manager and be on the books for another payout. But I think he's lost the faith of the team completely. You don't see them really playing. So I don't know how he turns that around. If he can get that, I thought Conor Gallagher would help, because he's kind of a leader. But it's difficult for a guy to come in from abroad and then suddenly get the whole team to snap in in line. So yeah, it's every week I think he's gonna be fired, man. Let's see if this is the week.
I feel like if Daniel Levy was still there, you'd have been gone. You'd have been gone by
Yeah,
now.
for sure. But those owners, the start, the purse strings are getting tight.
Yeah.
It's a weird one, right? Because I mean, United and Spurs were in the same type of position last season, both close to the relegation area. I won't say in a relegation battle, because that's not
Smile on
possible.
Jason's face.
But we were both
Been so different.
we were both in that area, and it's why it annoys me even more that we gave them their first trophy, because how it's Spurs, right? But now then you go into this season where even under Amarim, where we've sacked our manager, but we've been fifth and sixth and like on the door of top four, and their manager is still in that same predicament as last season. So very strange that no change has been made. I agree that it's got to be financial, because you listen to Spurs fans, though one of them that exists, I think his name is Riaz. They a lot of Spurs fans are so fed up because like they have no idea how he's still in a job every single week.
Yeah.
I think some of them we said Postecoglou again.
Yeah.
At least then he was less pragmatic, but you're going to go out on the attack and you might concede a few, but you will score a few too.
Yeah, but I think in those cases, right, he like lived by the sword and he eventually died by the sword. Frank plays a more conservative game, which maybe does, I'm not going to say it appeases the owners, but there's almost more to back when you have a sort of system that you can count on. I think with Ange, every day it was either we're going to play 2 at the back or we're going to play 7, and we're going to play a high line regardless. So whether you're 7 at the back, we're still going to be in your half. Whether you're 2 at the back, we're going to be in your half. And there's no offside trap ever. So I think it definitely comes down to financials. But look, all they have to do, flip the field, have NFL, have Beyonce there. That's their main money-making streams. Having everything besides football. That's how they generally make money. AF, any closing remarks before we just get a few predictions for this game?
One last thing on Thomas Frank, and this is a bit of devil's advocate over here. This is his first season, and maybe he's trying to change the culture. Maybe he's trying to change certain things within the team. Amarim had that last year. He finished 15th on the log. So, I mean, if you're trying to change the culture, you're trying to change things logistically within the team. It's going to take a while, and it's going to take a lot of hard work to be able to do that. And I mean, Amarim had that last season. This season, even though he got sacked, like Dan said, we were in 6th position when he got sacked. We were still within the grasp of top 4. So I don't know. Maybe the hierarchy at Spurs are looking at it the same way. Maybe just like try to give this guy the season, see what happens. If he takes us far enough in the Champions League just to get some prize money, like in the quarterfinals or whatever it is, from that competition, that they'll probably see that as a bit of a win, extra cash, and then he's gotten his team to play the way that he wants to, so that next season they can start off quite fresh.
No, that's fair. It's just, I mean, look, I think all of our teams have been through that sort of cycle where you have to weed out the dead weight and all of that stuff. It's never a nice process. So let's see how it goes. Long may it continue, to be honest. I'll start us off with these predictions. I think, I think unfortunately City's probably going to be too strong for Spurs, and I'm looking at like a 3-1 win actually. Dan?
I was going to say 4-0.
4-0 away from home.
Wow.
Yeah, no.
Everybody gets a home field there at Spurs ground.
Semenyo goal, Haaland goal, like everybody gets the goal. The attack is so strong. I can't see anything but like a thrashing.
Okay. Fair play. Ziad?
Yeah, I feel like changing mine now because I was going to go 4-1 to Man City. Okay, let's leave it at that. Let's not be too crazy.
Okay. No, fair play.
Giving them 1. That's fair.
Yeah, Mickey van der Ven for my fantasy team.
Hey, according to...
That's 0 points because he's conceded 4 plus a yellow and a goal. That's negative DEFCON points. Hey, what you have there for us?
I think I'm going to go for a 2-1 City. I don't think it's going to be as open-ended. Haaland's in a bit of a struggle at the moment with regards to goals, so that is a bit of a worry for City. But like you guys said, like they they have the luxury of having so many attacking players that they can try and use. But
Pep
yeah,
Guardiola is starting.
Yeah.
He'll come off
Yeah.
on the bench.
Yeah. Maybe that's I
every,
mean, look, every
every,
team needs.
every I was
Yeah.
gonna say everybody needs to know if they must captain Ireland or not, because everybody did that last weekend, and
Yeah.
it all backfired on every single
Everybody
team.
gonna feast. But look, I think previously somebody spoke about everybody thinks that their team is back and then they're actually just playing West Ham. But I think that's gonna change now in that everybody is on a goal drought and then they break it, but it's just playing against Spurs. I mean, I don't remember the last time Lyle Foster got a goal. But shout out Lyle Foster because he got one against Spurs. So maybe Alan breaks his drought. Maybe Foden also breaks his. But yeah, definitely one to consider. Riaz, if you are still in the chat and we haven't scared you away, give us a prediction and please say which team is going to win it. Don't just give a score because that could go either way. We now know you. You like both teams. Maybe it's 2-1 Tijani Rangers double. Maybe it's 2-1 Mickey van der Ven double. Let us
He
know.
loves Turkey also now, so he's
Yeah. Shirky,
players.
Rangers. This guy is looking for the midfielders, eh? He just likes good quality midfielders apparently. But yeah, that wraps up the preview, guys. Let us know in the comments. And also, this might be a bit late, and AF's probably gonna hate me for it. But if you haven't already, please like, follow, and subscribe. We did ask you at the start, and if you haven't now, we'll know if you only subscribe now. Okay, so that is for everybody and the aunties and uncles that are watching that have not subscribed. Lastly, we are in January. We are talking a transfer window that maybe hasn't lit up everybody's imagination. Maybe there's not too many deals. Maybe people are trying to be smart and save for the summer window. Maybe you're just Real Madrid and you're waiting for players to run down their contract. Who knows? But in the next segment now, we're just going to talk about the sort of best winter signings for our teams. We've got an even split. We've got 2 United fans. We've got 2 Arsenal fans. So yeah, just the best winter, which in our mind would be the January acquisition for Man United and Arsenal. And then we'll just open it up a bit broadly to, just the Premier League itself. So Dan, I'm going to start with you. I don't think it's a surprise. It's not the player you sold in the earlier segment, but who would you say is Man United's best January acquisition?
Yeah, I mean, look, we signed Bruno in January.
Yeah. There's no way that you're selling him in January. There's no way.
No, look, United don't make many transfers in January, so the list was quite few. But Bruno, we signed Bruno in January. He's our best January signing, in my opinion, in everyone's opinion.
Fair play.
Unless AF has someone else he tops that.
Is this like an ever thing, or is this like a current one?
No, I think because as Dan mentions, look, there's not many signings, and teams don't often make January signings, and I know you guys didn't really have money, so yeah, open it up to a few years. Give us
That's 2006.
Yeah, give us 2006. Even give us in the early 90s, because one of my lists is actually 1999. So yeah.
If I'm going for all time, it has to be Nemanja Vidic. What a signing! What a signing he turned out to be. Coming in and then just like passing the Premier League immediately, and he's gone down as probably one of our greatest centre backs that's ever played for the club. And then honourable mention, my guy Ahmad, coming in January. Also, he didn't immediately, sent out on loan a couple of times, but do it now.
So you said Vidic and Ibra was signed in the same window. He doesn't have to list. So,
like if I think back, Evra's first season and a bit was dodgy. Like I don't think there were United fans calling for him like, why did Sir Alex Ferguson sign him? And then he turned the corner and he's one of the best left backs that's ever played for us.
Yeah, but like you're saying with Ahmed as well, it was like wasn't immediate, but now very happy with that signing.
With Ahmed, I'm gonna have a bias, man. So I mean, I can't tell you anything else.
My honorable mention was Ballon d'Or. In January.
So both on that, right? Honorable mention Dogu, and then also you're saying Vidic is the best centre back, but you also signed Aiden Evan, and that was also in January, wasn't it? He could go on The same way Ballon d'Or could be better than Evra. Or is Ballon d'Or better than any winger you've signed? Because he's actually a winger and not a defender. These are things to watch out for. Ziad, I'm going to jump to you. I think I have a suspicion of who your first one's going to be, but I might have a suspicion of who your second one's going to be also. Talk to me.
I don't have two, bruh. I'm going with just one.
Okay.
Aubameyang, obviously in 2018, I think that was a big one because that was when
Number one on the
Alexis
list.
left.
Number one on the list.
Yeah.
Here.
So
You want to come back
all
here?
worried how we're gonna replace it. And he came in and he was quite exciting. I was looking more for like immediate impact rather than someone that was signed. And so I think Aubameyang coming in 18 was quite good because he hit the ground running. He gave us some optimism, and then the following season we got the FA Cup with him. So that's my one.
No, that's fair. That's fair. I'm going to give you one before you give a few honorable mentions. A current player, actually, Leandro Trossard. Pound for pound, probably one of, if not on the same level as Pierre, but in terms of output, in terms of big game, sort of BMT, I think he's been one of the better signings we've had in that Jan window, immediately elevated. And especially when you look at the sort of playoff where we almost spent 100 mil on Mikel Mudryk. And we then went and gone to go sign Leandro Trossard, proven. I think he cost like maybe 25 to 30 mil, maybe 35 if I'm really pushing it. But immediately started, gave goals, assists, and key goals and assists, which is something that I think we sort of lacked. He kind of did elevate us. Do you have any honorable mentions from the Arsenal side before we open it up to the broader league?
From the Arsenal side, no, but I got some interesting ones for. Okay. I got some deep pools here. So
so let me just talk a bit just about Arsenal. So we signed Theo Walcott back in the day, a young 17-year-old from Southampton. That was one. Honorable mention also the late Jose Antonio Reyes. Signed in a time when we had Henri, Bergkamp, all of those players, a young kid from Sevilla, just really elevated the football. And then going a little bit back, I think it's 98, 99, Nwankwo Kanu signed in Jan or so, and also did bits for us in the early 2000s. I think we got the double 2001, and then we also just got a league 2000 or something like that. So definitely him. But now we'll open up to the broader league. Anybody that you got that we want to mention?
Who are you talking to?
I'm going to start with Ziad, and then AF, if you've got anybody that he's not going to mention, then for sure.
So there's two that for me, like one of the biggest ones that like had a massive impact on the league was Luis Suarez to Liverpool in 2011 from Ajax. That was just an insane signing. I think that's the window where they signed him and Crouch. Or no, not Crouch.
And look how those two things worked out.
Carroll. But it was because Suarez wanted to go to Chelsea, right? So it was like that whole story. And then Suarez just came in, started biting people and scoring tons of goals. And his Liverpool career was like, it was something elite before he moved on. Liverpool also signed Coutinho in January, but I think Suarez stands out to me. And then the one that I'm most proud of, Liverpool. I like that. I used to like that you could still go find people in January, man, that could have an impact. And that's why like kind of when I started really following football, around the mid, say 95, 96, around that time, I couldn't believe that Jurgen Klinsmann was playing for Spurs. Like I couldn't believe it. And I didn't know that he had played with him before, but I just remember when he came on loan to help him avoid relegation. I think it was 1998. He did that and he saved them from relegation and immediately retired. And like for me, that German team was like one of the best teams ever. Lothar Matthäus, you had Klinsmann, Bierhoff, the centre backs. I can't get to their names now, but Oliver Kahn obviously in goal. They were like, one of the best teams in the world. So to see him like come to a team that's almost getting relegated and lift them up, with that for me was like what the January signing kind of
what you're almost wanting from him. 100%.
From any player you're fetching. I think didn't Henrik Larsson also join United in January?
3 months,
3 months, like those type of deals, man. Like obviously we tempted to go with Henry when he came back, but it wasn't as transformative as I think the Klinsmann signing was.
Nah, fair play. AF, anybody that stood out for you?
Yeah, no, like if we're talking about like on like the Premier League, like what they did for the league, somebody like Branislav Ivanovic came in. He's, if you're thinking about Premier League best defenders, he's up there and he's in the discussion. He was a really, really
They
good
have got the
acquisition.
itch today, the Vidic and the Ivanovic and
Yeah.
It's all about the Serbians, man. But yeah, and then another one is the guy's still playing now, and I'm going way back when he transferred to Everton, and that's Seamus Coleman. He came in the
Yes.
January window, and he's been like a cornerstone of that team. Like he'll come back from injury, and he'll be like, okay, now I don't need a lot of time. Put me in, coach. And yeah, I mean, up until today, he's still kicking on, and he's still trying to show that the team that you can contribute in some form. And yeah, that's a great thing to see.
100%, 100%. Yeah, I thought that you were saying, as you were winding it up and saying he's still playing, I thought you were going to mention Virgil van Dijk. Because he was also...
But then you said best defender.
Yeah, he said best defender, and that's when I said, nah, you know what? It can't be Virg. But yeah, Liverpool did have a knack. I think, like we were mentioning, they signed Coutinho. Virg having come in, I also think back in the day, City signed Eden Dzeko, and that was a big move for them because he came in and he paired with Aguero so nicely. It was in that in the season where they won their first league title. So I think his impact can't be understated. You have Jermaine Defoe leaving West Ham to go to Spurs, and maybe didn't win as much, but I think he elevated their form as well. Really prolific striker, had an extremely exceptional career there. The last one, which I don't think, maybe the timelines don't line up properly, but it was Riyad Mahrez coming from the French league to Leicester. So I think it was the season that they just got in, the very first season Mahrez came in. The following season, he then basically spearheads that league title that they won, him and Vardy and Shinji Okazaki. Don't forget. Yeah, I think that was a signing. Maybe I might have got it wrong. Maybe he signed in the championship first, but I think similar in terms of his impact, and then further on when he obviously signed for City. So yeah, let us know if we missed anybody. It was quite fun. Yeah.
When did Bruno Guimaraes join Newcastle? Was that at the end, or was it during the January window?
Look, I'm not going to claim to know that. But yeah, also seems to have a very decent impact, or I've had a very decent impact, and now club captain as well. So yeah, definitely some honorable mentions. That it's very easy to have missed it. I think the windows sort of do. Yeah, okay. Dan's confirmed it here, 2022 on the 30th of Jan. Bruno.
Nice deadline day.
Yeah, deadline day signing. So yeah, there's definitely quite a few more that we've missed, and also just in terms of impact further, I think there was Papi Cisse that joined Newcastle. They kind of pushed them up a bit at that time with that Demba Ba as well. So yeah, there are a few teams that got some signings, and also just further to, like Ziad said, Jurgen Klinsmann helped Spurs. There are probably some signings that we've missed and overlooked that probably helped your team not get relegated. Which is also very important if you're thinking about the monetary perspective. So yeah, please do let us know if we've missed anybody. And yeah, that kind of wraps up episode 152. I tried to keep it an hour, but I did enjoy that little segment. It was nice to research it as well, bring something different to just a preview review show. Yeah, I'll start with my co-host that's sitting next to me here. Where can the people find you? And yeah, what are you going to be following in the next few weeks, maybe?
So I'm only available on TikTok. Dan Loves Footy. Please don't follow my Instagram. Please don't follow my Facebook or my WhatsApp. Just TikTok. Dan Loves Footy.
Wow.
Dan's got a channel now, and it's only me that subscribed to the channel. I think it's just a chat, to be honest. Yeah, if anybody wants to see me cry, I think head over to Dan Loves Footy. Yeah, if you follow, maybe I'll start crying on the channel because there's no video where I cry yet. Okay. Yet.
You won't let me post it, that's right.
Yeah, that's also the thing. Shadow ban that video. AF, talk to me. Where can the people find you, and just what's going to be keeping your attention in the next few weeks?
Yeah, at AF Parker 642 on all social media profiles. Wonder Man dropped today. All 6 episodes or 8 episodes, I don't know how much. But yeah, that's probably going to be me binging that over the next couple of days. And then I'll probably put out a video this weekend sometime with regards to that. But also just watching United play, enjoying watching 90 minutes of football every week now, which is
That's
better
fair play.
for me.
I thought you had said Wonder Bag, and I thought, that's not a movie. That's old colored little device that you
Keep
keep
that
your
ice
food
warm.
in. And I was like,
Keep
yeah,
that
yeah,
ice
yeah.
warm. Yeah.
Every colored household has one. I had two. So yeah, I'm glad it's Wonder Man. Ziad, there's a lot of golf on. Are you gonna have 2 screens up? You're gonna watch the golf
Nah.
and football this week?
Yeah, I don't know about the golf because the DP World Tour is a bit quiet this week, if I'm not mistaken, because we had those events in Dubai, which were quite cool to follow. But yeah, the Farmers Insurance is on, big field in there. Just before the episode, actually, Patrick Reed, who won the Dubai Desert Classic, dropped the news that he wants to rejoin the tour. So he hopes to be
Brooks
eligible
Koepka starting the
2027.
whole comeback now, eh? Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the big one we're gonna watch. But other than that, just the football. I'm covering the United game this weekend, United Fulham. I think we have an outside broadcast. So I'll post that details when I get it at some Man United fan lounge. I took AF there when he was here, so yeah, I got the United Fulham game to cover.
That's fair. That's fair. All good. Yeah, at Jason_Ronnie, we are at Sportycast on all of the platforms. We appreciate all the love. We have cracked the 1,000 subscribers mark on YouTube, so we do appreciate all that love and all that support, all the watch hours, the comments. Ramiz, I'm thankful that you subscribed from your account and the fake account as well, so we do appreciate that love. But yeah, please do just watch the socials. We got a few things coming up. We will be trying to do a few more walk-alongs, AF. But yeah, I
Sunday.
suppose this probably is the best time to sort of hard launch that. So for those that don't know, the World Cup trophy is going to be in South Africa, and specifically it's going to be in Cape Town and Joburg. So this Sunday at Battery Park, I think it's February the 1st, the World Cup trophy will be there. We'll be out. We'll be looking to get some content. So if you are in the area, I think you just got to go to the Coca-Cola website, subscribe, and I think you get like a free ticket. There's no cost to it. That's what free means. And it would just be your petrol. And then, yeah, we would love to interact. Obviously, this is lovely to do it virtually, but in-person interactions really does make us happy as well. So yeah, if you're in the area, we'd love to chat. We are going to be talking a few World Cup things, but also just Premier League football in general. And then further on, we've got a few more potential things lined up. So yeah, I suppose if you follow and you like, you will be able to see that. And yeah, that kind of wraps up episode 152. Riaz, if you're watching, sometimes it can be 115, sometimes it can be an hour, or we just let it flow. Okay. So from everybody at Sportycast, we are over and out. Cheers.
Thanks.